Hey guys, welcome to Teawithmike episode number 29. Joining me today is Natasha. Thanks for being here.
Hey.
So today's tea fact of the day is 98% of people take their tea with milk, but only 30% take sugar in their tea. And this comes from tea.co.uk. So welcome to the show, Natasha.
Thank you.
So what did you think of the tea fact of the day to begin?
Yeah, that's actually super interesting because me, myself, I don't take milk or cream in my tea. I like my tea black. So with a little bit of sugar because I like it a little sweeter.
Okay, so do you want to start by telling the Teawithmike audience a little bit about you?
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Natasha. I currently live in Calgary, Alberta, but I'm from Newfoundland originally, so Canadian. I currently run a business called Evo King Management. So we manage artists, help them with services to help their careers, throw on events, do entertainment, all that kind of fun stuff.
Awesome. So let's dive a little deeper into Evo King Management. So how did Evo King Management kind of come to fruition?
Yeah, so my partner and I were actually in Europe. It's actually an amazing story. I'll tell you the whole story about it because I love it. So basically, my partner was over in Europe managing an artist, and he was on tour with this artist. It was a friend of his that he had for years, and unfortunately, things didn't go so great on the tour. I flew over to Europe and met them in Israel and saw the last part of the tour, which was an amazing experience. Super fun. But when we were over there, we realized all the things that maybe weren't going so great on the tour, and we had a bunch of ideas on how we can improve it. So what we did is we ended up going for a walk one day, and we went through a bazaar when we were in Tel Aviv. And in the bazaar, we came to an art spot. And there was this big painting that both of us just stopped and fell in love with. And it was the exact same one out of the hundreds of paintings on the wall. There was one that caught both of our eyes. And it was actually a picture, a graffiti picture of three apes. And one had headphones, which was the hear no evil. One had a bandana covering its mouth, which was the speak no evil. And then one had the sunglasses, which is the see no evil. Yeah, so if you check out our website or our social media, you can see our logo is actually an ape with glasses and a crown, which is where the Evo King comes from. So the glasses for the artist management is we see no evil, which for an artist management company is probably perfect. So yeah, after we found this painting, we fell in love with it. We bought it, paid like $200 for it, brought it back to Canada. We went to London after that to kind of unwind for a couple of days. My partner was on tour for about a month, so he really just needed some vacation time, spend some time with his family over there. And when we were spending time there, we decided, you know what, why don't we start our own business? Why don't we do this? We can see everything that's wrong with what happened. We learned a lot about the positives. Let's just do this. So between our little trip to Tel Aviv and our painting, that kind of became the logo. And then, yeah, the trip inspired us to create a business.
That's kind of a cool backbone of a story.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, a lot of little action.
Yeah, so with the company, for people that might not know, what sort of things do you offer?
For sure. So like I mentioned, our main goal is managing artists. So we have currently 3 artists that we manage, and we're looking to expand to 5 to 10, just because we want to make sure that every artist we work with is given the proper amount of time. We don't want to overload ourselves, you know, and that way we can really focus on the artists we're working with. We also offer services to the artists, so you don't have to be managed by us to get the services. And the services we offer, we do promo gear, marketing, websites, social media management, EPKs. We have connections to recording, beat packages, pretty much anything an artist would need. So we truly offer that holistic approach that if you're an artist, regardless if you're just starting off or if you've been doing it for years, there's something we can offer you in a way we can help you.
So that's awesome. So for you personally, as I know from your bio, you have like lots of different skills from marketing, event planning. how did you do get opportunities to develop all of these like different areas and skills?
Yeah, so for me, I never went to college or university. I've never been a great student. I'm very hands-on, and I've just always learned by doing. So with that in mind, when I was 18, I went straight to work. Instead of going to college or university, I moved out with a boyfriend I had at the time. We got our first place, which meant I had bills to pay. So I ended up getting into admin, which is where I kind of picked up some of the administrative background that I have. And then within a couple of years, I got into insurance. And when I got into insurance, I worked just for small companies. That's something I'm very passionate about. I love working for startups and small businesses because you really get to have your hands in everything. And you're not just, given a number, stuck in a cubicle, and it's like, okay, here's your job. You're never going to go outside of that. So for me, working for startup companies, especially in tech, which was my last position, I really got to do everything because there was nobody else. So I just took on the world and, learned to go.
Nice. And so, do you have any particular areas that you've been fortunate enough to have opportunities in that you favorite, or do you like them all for kind of different reasons?
I would say my favorite, if I had to pick one, I just love business. I love business in general, and that's why I kind of went towards a startup. Is marketing is a lot of fun as well, which is kind of where the event planning came into play. The event planning, the entertainment, the marketing, and just the raw business side of things is really where I excel. I find it super interesting. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I'm super passionate about what I do. So just being able to take something so infant and help scale and grow it, it works really well for my personality type. And I love the reward at the end of it when it actually becomes something. It's truly like having a baby or a child, right? Like that's how I look at business. It's a baby right now. I made it with my partner, and it needs all my attention and all my time. And sometimes it's annoying when it cries and I need a weekend off. But for the most part, it's really, really rewarding watching a business grow.
Just dipping, sorry. So dipping back to the business that you own, what do you think some of the opportunities and challenges are moving forward for the rest of this year and beyond?
For sure. So the opportunities are really endless. Because of, being in the entertainment music industry, there's so many different routes and paths you can take. And we're fortunate enough to be working with amazing artists that are versatile. They can play anything from a bar to a wedding to going on tour to a festival. So that makes it a lot easier because it truly just opens doors for us. Our whole goal right now is to do co-op shows and tours. So what that means is it's artists, DJs, event planners, and us all coming together, putting on a show or a tour. Everybody splits the cost and everybody splits the reward. A problem in Calgary right now is a lot of the promoters that are currently working, they get all the profits, and artists are performing for free or they're paying to perform. If they're lucky, they might get $5 from a ticket they sell, or they might get, some free drinks or some other benefit. But
Crazy.
It truly is hard. Yeah, like it's super hard for artists to make a living, right? Because you're putting on all these free shows, you're hoping to get some fans that follow you on Spotify and Apple Music. But even that, with the market being so saturated, they really don't make a lot of money. You need like 100,000 views to really make anything worth talking about.
Yeah. And really, if you look at it from afar, like what percentage really get that far, unfortunately, right? Because of how saturated the market is. It's not necessarily because they're not talented, it's because of how saturated the market is and how little music people really listen to per person in reality.
Exactly, right? And if you're only doing one genre, then you're siloing yourself even more because you literally have just the one type of person that likes your genre, and that's it, right? So I would say a challenge for us is definitely the saturated market and trying to boost these artists in a market that is, packed with other talent and other artists, and then just working against some of the bigger companies. So in Calgary specifically, there is competition. There's a few companies that have a bit of a monopoly in the market. So they've been running things forever, and they do a great job. They bring in headliners, they throw on events, but it's really hard for a smaller company to really break in and get noticed, because you have a bigger company, they'll throw an event the same weekend. Chances are more people are going to go to them because they're familiar with the brand. So that's probably the biggest challenge we have.
So when you're working with artists, and maybe even a little bit from your personal experience, how is kind of the social media game going for artists? Do you find a lot of them are already on it? Some of them are good at it, or it's something that they don't really have time to do?
Honestly, it depends on the artist. A lot of them are on it, but it's the consistency. A lot of them don't have the time, or sometimes just, the knowledge and the resources to post as much as they need to. Some free advice I would give is you need to be posting 5 to 7 times a week. If it's Instagram, you need to be using all 30 of your hashtags. You need to be commenting and liking on other people's pictures. I put probably about 2 hours a day minimum into our social media. And it's, we're seeing a steady increase of followers and likes and comments, but it does take a commitment and a lot of time to do.
Awesome. And so, I know outside of all the stuff you do, event planning, marketing, business owner, superwoman, I also know that you like to travel. So what are some of the countries that you've kind of been to?
Yeah, so I really just started traveling in the last few years, because when I was younger, I just never had the finances, or, I just never prioritized it. But that's been my mantra the last few years, is to really travel. So some of the countries I've been to, Israel, I've been to the UK, Iceland, Jamaica, Mexico a bunch of times, the States a bunch of times. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for now. But I am always looking to expand those horizons. I'm hoping to go to Asia in a couple of years and spend a month over there. Basically everywhere is on my bucket list.
Is there a particular thing that attracts you to a country? For example, you go somewhere because you love history, or because you want to check out some top popular tourist spots, for example?
So I personally hate tourist traps. So when I travel, I tend to avoid them like the plague. I went to San Francisco and I did Alcatraz, worst mistake of my life. It was like being a sheep herded through a prison, and overpriced and just not that great. So for me, it's a mix of things. I like taking city trips every once in a while for music, for culture. I love history. I'm also super outdoorsy. So Iceland was more of a nature trip with all the waterfalls and hot springs and volcanoes. So I like to do a mix, and in the wintertime here, I really like to go somewhere hot. So every January, my birthday's in January, I like to go to Mexico or Jamaica or somewhere warm.
Good time to travel too, hey, January.
Yeah, it's
usually
after the Christmas rush. Exactly. So that's usually when I'll go to like a hot spot. And then, other countries, it's totally culture. I love culture. I love history. I love architecture, some of the old buildings. That's what's really cool about Europe, is you have all the really old buildings and the architecture is just gorgeous.
What are some of the things on your bucket list right now? Both personally and professionally. Personally and professionally.
So I would say personally, well, a lot of my personal and professional life, I don't really separate them anymore, because I do own my own business, and everything I do is because I'm passionate about it. So they do kind of bleed together. I love traveling. So being able to do tours, we want to do a Europe tour in the next couple of years. And that kind of works for both a personal and professional, because I'll get to tour all these countries, check out different spots, listen to music, and then it works professionally very well because we can take the artist with us. So that's probably one of the big ones. Scaling the business to a point where, I'm making the kind of money I was before when I left my corporate job. So I am currently doing this full time, but because it's a startup business, I'm not making a lot of money yet. So So just kind of scaling the business to that point where, you know, it is my full-time income and I'm able to support myself and my partner with it for sure.
Awesome. Do you have any like cool stories that you want to tell the Tea with Mike audience? Maybe how you broke into some backstage places at festivals?
Yeah, for sure. So this past Stampede, my partner and I went to Classified, and we decided it was going to be a date night. When you work in entertainment, it's really hard to go to an event or show without working. It's just you're naturally there. You meet people that are in the industry. It's so hard. So this was one night we decided, you know what, we're not going to work. We're just going to have fun. So we go to the concert, we listen to, you know, the entire thing. And closer to the end of it, my partner looks at me and he's like, we're going to walk through these doors. You need to act like you belong. And it all happened so quickly. He grabs my hand. We walk through a set of doors at the same time as a group of people. Next thing you know, we're in the green room. So for those of you that don't know, the green room is where the artists hang out before and after the show. So we ended up in there with Classified, Shaw Claire, and their whole crew of people. I, you know, instantly just walked over to the first person that wasn't in a conversation to start talking to somebody to look like I knew them and I should be there because of course there's security there.
How did that person react?
Oh, they were super welcoming. You know, at that point the concert was over. Everyone had a light buzz probably, right, from some drinks and stuff. So luckily they were all super cool people. And yeah, we ended up spending the night with Classified and Shaw Claire and their crew. So we walked through Stampede, played some carny games, went over to cafes, got into their VIP. We were dancing with them, just like talking with them. Yeah, super cool people. Classified has always been one of my favorite artists. I'm from Newfoundland originally, so anybody from the East Coast is an instant like in my books. So yeah, it was a super fun night. And honestly, if it wasn't for my partner just grabbing me and us breaking in, we probably never would have done something like that. So it's really cool. And it really just shows, you know, sometimes you just got to live in the moment and don't think too much and jump in.
Awesome. So what piece of advice would you give somebody that's struggling in their daily lives? They're not happy with where they're at. They think they maybe have one or two ideas of something cool that they're passionate about that they'd like to do, but they don't know what to do next.
For sure. So my advice, being somebody that just left a very secure, comfy job to explore her passion, is life is short. Especially if you're young and you don't have, you know, kids and a mortgage and all of these things. Do it while you can before you're in a situation where you're 40 years old and you have a mortgage and you have a bunch of kids and you can't take the risk because you have too much riding on things. I've read a million articles on people who have some sort of, you know, disease or cancer and they pass away, and all of these articles and videos, they always say the same message. Spend time with those you love, explore your passions, and do things while you're able, because you never know. Tomorrow's never promised.
That's awesome. And so when you were growing up, is there anyone that had a big influence on the path you took? Or so how did you kind of like discover business and that sort of thing?
Yeah, so I would definitely attribute it to my family. My uncle is an entrepreneur. And it runs in my family. My great grandfather was as well. So I think it is something that, I don't know if that can be genetic, but it's definitely
in the family. Yeah.
And then my dad, I would definitely credit him because my dad was always hardworking. My mom was lucky enough that she was able to stay home with me and my sister, work part-time, raise the kids, and take care of the house because my dad busted his ass. My dad was always hard on me. I'm the oldest child, so he always had super high expectations. If I came home with a report card from school with an 80, he'd be like, you can do better. You should have had a 90. So it sounds rough, but at the end of the day, I mean, it worked out pretty well. You know, he just always told me to never sell myself short and to always work hard. So
awesome. Great advice. And I can see that you're probably about 3/4 away through that nice cup of tea that you're drinking.
Yes.
So tell the audience, oh, in a very fancy mug, teacup too. What tea are you drinking?
Chai tea. Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm drinking today.
So is that your favorite type of tea, or?
Yeah, I would say chai is probably my favorite. And then I do love Earl Grey as well, like an Earl Grey vanilla, London fog. That's probably my go-to comfort tea if it's like a rainy day. It works
Awesome.
really well.
And do you prefer hot tea or like iced tea?
I prefer hot tea. If I'm gonna drink iced tea, it's got to be actual chilled tea. I can't do the nesty type of sugary pop stuff. Yeah, it's not that great.
Nice. And then how many cups of tea do you think you drink a day?
I don't drink tea every day. I'm usually more of a coffee person, if I'm going to be honest. I usually drink 1 to 2 cups of coffee a day, then tea maybe a cup a week. It just really depends. Sometimes if I have a cup of coffee in the morning, I might have tea in the afternoon, or if I'm sick, I drink all the tea.
Awesome, man. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, for sure. So, what made you want to do these shows? What makes you passionate about it?
What makes me passionate? Actually, what do I understand? I think what makes me passionate about it is because I'm very extroverted, and I've always like loved talking to people, and my background is in acting and live theater and entertaining audiences, and I've kind of, it's a little bit cliche, but like growing up, I've always been that person to show up in a room where everyone's grumpy and not having a very good day, and just being that person that cheers up the room. So sometimes a little bit because a little bit funny and stuff. So kind of a mixture of clown and just being a kind and funny person. And then also the frustration of, because technology has like has developed so much, people have lost some of those soft skills like face-to-face interaction or even interaction in general, and holding a conversation, because everybody is glued to their device, and they're not interested in talking to the person that they're talking to. So kind of a combination of those factors. And also I love storytelling, and everybody's got cool stories to tell, even if they kind of don't think they do.
That's awesome. I can definitely see you are a light based on your energy. So keep that up, because that's amazing.
Awesome. I think this is a good place to end episode 29. So thank you for being on this show.
Thanks so much. See you.
Yeah, guys, this was Teawithmike episode number 29. This was Natasha. Go check out some of the cool things she's doing, and I'll post some links to some of her stuff in the description below. So until next time, have a good day.